There's a lawyer with a vision, one of a kind. He's the Aussie overlawd. He'll fight for your rights, and he's got his own channel shining bright. From the courtroom to the web, he's got it all. Sharing legal knowledge, answering the call. He breaks it down in a language we all understand. The Aussie overlawd taking a stand. With his Aussie charm and his legal know-how, he's the hero we need, showing us how. He fights for justice, no case too tough. The Aussie overlawd, he's more than enough.
What is going on there? Anyway, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, and welcome to this episode of the Law News and Laughter podcast. How are we doing, peeps? Yes, I'm running monumentally late. Stomach bug came back with a vengeance overnight, and I barely got any sleep whatsoever. And then I blinked, and the wife's telling me, "Oh, are you not streaming this morning? It's 20 past 10. I'm like, "Oh shit." Wouldn't have noticed. Rarely get notifications. Have no sense of time. You're perfectly on time. Sweet. Appreciate it, Kathy. Don't care how late. I'm happy to see you stream. Thank you, Nia. Appreciate that. So in today's show, we've got the Canadian Cancer Society apologising for not... Apparently, they called the cervix. They didn't call the cervix a front hole. I didn't even think that the cervix itself was the front hole. But anyway, we're gonna look at a news article on that. We're gonna look at a new bill that is being rushed through the Australian Parliament so that it can burn in flames, because we both know that the government isn't going to be happy about it. It's one to force businesses to accept cash, which would be monumentally awesome in the fight to keep us from becoming a cashless society. It's been introduced as a private member's bill, so more likely than not, it's going to crash and burn pretty damn quickly, but we'll see exactly what happens. We've got a mother on Reddit who's refusing to change her baby's name, and... where are we? The other thing, we've got a guy that was running naked on a Virgin Australia flight, and a woman who has been branded a thief because of AI. Not that you can really be surprised. No hat. Yeah, no, I did the hair this morning, so... And we got a few other things. But aside from that, welcome to today's episode of Law News and Laughter, people. Let's get stuck into it, shall we? And I've just realised that in my haste, I have not actually checked whether or not... Oh, no, I did. Okay, we're good. Just because I was a bit of a moron, and I didn't actually check whether or not... I basically just fired up the computer and completely forgot all of the pre-flight checks. So I didn't check whether or not I had the right news article thing up. I didn't check whether or not the stream deck was set up so that I had the fuck counter, which is running. Let's go to the news. Kino Casino said you were cheating on your wife. I can't stand that. No, look, guys, I watched most of that. I was there. I thought that was freaking hilarious. The boys can have all the fun they want with it. I'm aware that I spurged out. If I can be content for them, great. but they're probably going to be very disappointed once they actually dig and see how boring I am. Anyway, all right. Canadian Cancer Society apologises for not calling cervix front hole in a non-binary disclaimer. On a webpage dedicated to cervical cancer, the Canadian Cancer Society is apologising for referring to the cervix by its technical name rather than euphemisms such as front hole. Wait, what? The agency also conceded that men can have these body parts too. What the fuck? Just saw an Outback Steakhouse commercial and there's no Outback Steakhouse within 200 miles of me. Syndicated advertising, maybe? I don't know. I mean, if they want to waste their money, go for it. Trans, non-binary, and gender-diverse people face significant barriers to accessing healthcare and are less likely than cisgendered people, don't use that slur, to be screened for cancer, wrote the Canadian Cancer Society on a page on the cervical cancer screening for LGBTQ people. In a Words Matter section on the organisation's official website, the Canadian Cancer Society atoned for the fact that some non-binary and transgender people might find the term cervix offensive and preferred to use the term front hole to refer to female genitalia. I get Sonic commercials and there's no Sonic within 250 to 500 miles of me. Well, there you go. Well, I mean, there's no Sonic within 8,000 miles of me. What is the distance? Hang on. Exactly how far did I fly? Hang on. Yeah, okay, so that's how many kilometers, but I wanted it in miles. Mother. Yeah, 7,920 miles. I was pretty much on the man. On the man? My brain is still not working. Also, don't be a dick like me and don't be on top chat. Need to try and do cancer cervix check on men now. Try to find it. Well, I mean, see, here's the thing. There was a while ago that, I mean, I don't know how legitimate it is, but didn't they find an accidental test for testicular cancer because some guys peed on a pregnancy test or something? Or, like, stories BS, if the cervix is so offensive, they can change their identity. Damn! Chest feeding birth people with their bonus hole get really pissed when you don't refer to them with archaic terms like women. In a Words Matter section, we recognise that the terms trans, men, and non-binary people may have mixed feelings about or feel distance from words like cervix. You may prefer other words such as frontal. We recognise the limitations of words and the words we've used, while also acknowledging the need for simplicity. Shall we just drop medical terms? My heart can be called a beating mass. Panasonic's an hour away from me, not ashamed to admit that I drive multiple times that distance. I wouldn't be worried about it. When I was a kid, we used to drive, 45 minutes each way to go to McDonald's. God, and that was mainly because the small country town that I was living in didn't have one. Like, the McDonald's was at the next town over. I've just realised that I've got to try and keep, I've got to remove Maccas from my vocabulary because half the people that watch this don't understand what it means. You know what? No, fuck it. True North reached out to the Canadian Cancer Society for comment but did not receive a response. Women's rights activists argue that the terminology is both objectifying and derogatory. British gender-critical writer Julie Birchall accused LGBT activists of erasing women by adopting the terms. Both bonus hole and front hole are recommended as trans-friendly alternatives to vagina. Trans ideologies have long tried to erase or appropriate any word that is specific to females, from woman to mother, now vagina, and they have gained a foothold in our schools and our media. Now gynecological health providers are swallowing stupid pills too, argued Birchall in a 2023 essay published to Spiked. You're eating brekkie. Sorry about that, Joe Kitty Buck. Knickers, knackers, patty workers. Dad will go to Dairy Queen and get a big bag of dilly bars. I still like them. I have no idea what a dilly bar is. That's... Keep using Aussie terms. I need a reason to use this Australian to American dictionary. Hey, Heidi, how you doing? The bonus hole I know of is if it's my anniversary or something. Wow, look at that sub counter drop. No, look, I mean, this shit's got to stop, doesn't it? I mean, like, I was never one of those trust the science people with various things. I mean, I got the umbrella, as I call it, because I don't know what the other YouTube appropriate terminology for it is. That I've always said I did that mainly for Scarlett because I didn't really care. But she has respiratory issues. We didn't really want to risk getting it in the house. And the whole... That's why I've never... Can I say jab? Am I allowed to say jab on YouTube? Can't get Foster's here. If we could, we wouldn't drink that swill every Australian I've ever known. Yep. Slowly reversing. The number of people who believe things like gender assigned at birth is increasing over time. I would really hope so because, I mean, I saw the statement that was put out by the American Association of Pediatricians. And then when you look at the figures, like, I think it was put best in a graph that I saw on X yesterday, and it was like, this segment of society is male, this segment of society is female, this tiny little segment of society is the vocal minority that is basically doing this, and it's something like 0.016% or some shit like that of the entire world's population. And to me, all it is it seems like it's a... Seems like everyone's bowing over. It seems like everyone's bowing and bending over in order to placate screaming toddlers, really. Aussie friend's moving back to Australia. I'm going to miss him. Most honest and blunt man I know. Oh, well, there you go. Well, I mean, maybe he'll set up a streaming channel, but you'll be fine. 0.16 sounds too big. They're including fakers. Quite possibly. You really think that... I left the hat on my bedside table. I mean, I can... You happy? But see, here's the thing that I don't understand. I've never been able to understand the cis thing. Because why is it okay for them to scream and bitch and moan about being called things, but then they can scream and bitch and moan when they call us something and we're not happy about it? Like, I hate that. This is just people trying to come in and change language. This is some Ministry of Truth style shit. So, I don't know. I'm generally the kind of person that's like, well, once you're over the age of 18, you can do what you want, as long as it doesn't impact on me. Well, this is starting to impact on me. This is starting to impact on other people. This is impacting on individuals that, you know, double standards is the only standards they have. And I don't know why, but bonus hole and front hole actually just sound vulgar to me. Like, that's probably just me being, like... I don't know. Like, petty doesn't seem right the right word there. Like... Anyway, the term front hole and bonus hole has been popularized by the LGBTQ activists as a replacement for the biologically correct term vagina. They've got to stop saying LGBTQ as well. Show me a lesbian, gay, or bi person that has an issue with the term vagina. Or pussy, or dick, or... Actually, where's Flux? I need my girl. I need some. I need some reinforcement there. Bonus holes and front hole is a term for assholes. Oh, yeah, basically. So, hey, Jacob Castro, how you doing, buddy? King Canut. In 2022, controversy erupted after the Boston's Children's Hospital used the term. Other organizations dedicated to women's health. Wait, why would it matter if the Boston Children's Hospital said the word vagina? When I hear that, it makes me think of old disgusting males who refer to women as at least she's a hole. It's nasty and degrading. Degrading! That's the word I was looking for. Thank you. As a woman, I'm offended. It's my body, my parts. Well, there you go. On you tomorrow. A transgender male may still have a vagina. He won't call it a vagina. He may use the term front hole or a different term, said Dr. Elizabeth Bosky in the video by the hospital, which is perfectly fine because that's up to him, or to they, or to them, or however they want to refer. I'm not going to stop calling it a vagina. The vagina. We have the best vagina. We're going to grab him by the vagina. We're going to... I spend no time practicing on that at all. I don't know why I keep trying it. Would I be an awful person if I had an energy drink at 9 p.m.? No, just depends on, like, how long you're intending to stay awake. It's not up to her to change our lexicon, screw up. Yeah, I can't do this. Oh, it's making my head itchy. Sorry, Tina, I know you prefer me with a hat on. I just... It's a little warm in here this morning. So, I'm just not okay with this being shoved down our throats. Like, I mean, I've said it previously that I've had family and friends that have fallen into the category of either they were pre-trans or they're lesbian, gay, bi, and they don't seem to have any of these issues. Like, it doesn't even seem to be like... It seems like it's a vocal minority of the vocal minority. Had an energy drink at noon, took a nap at 1:30, so who knows what will happen. It's anyone's guess. Fair enough. An L&D nurse can't go up to a labouring woman and say, I need to check your front hole. That would probably cause some issues, I would admit. I think that a lady in labour may have issues with that. You do not get to put your stuff on me. My niece, a young gay, does, but she just graduated. So my cousin, who was an old gay, hates this shit too. It's wild. There you go. There you go. All right, let's move on, shall we? I didn't actually talk about the guy that was being sued, that was being fined for using his air conditioner. Check this weird and wild shit out. Locals getting fined for using their air conditioner at night. Sydney residents facing a $10,000 fine for using air conditioners at night due to the noise complaints. Chris O'Keefe and member for Wakehurst, Michael Regan, explores the legislative details. Here we go. Whenever you're ready, Chris.
Start listening to Audible with a 2-month
Oh, rack off. Hang on. No, that's the...
free trial for a limited time only. Discover thousands of audiobooks,
Not allowed to have your aircon on at... Has your neighbour ever complained about your air conditioning or your heating units being too loud? Serious question. Because apparently you are not allowed to have your aircon on at night if it makes too much noise. I had no idea about this.
Which is true. There are noise restrictions that I think kick in for the most part in most suburbs. I mean, this is Sydney, so I don't specifically know whether or not it's the same there. I think it's after, I want to say 7 o'clock. You're not supposed to make, like, noise violations. Jesus, this guy's thick Aussie. Yeah, this guy is. This is Chris O'Keefe. He's got a voice built for radio, let's put it that way.
It's law, you know. And I was shocked yesterday when caller George from Artarmon told us all about it. Now, after turning on his aircon, hot summer's night, fair enough, you put the aircon on because it's hard to sleep, right? Well, he turned the aircon on and George was sent a letter from Willoughby Council and it was titled this, quote, Warning Letter, Noise Disturbance. And the council told him he could be in for a massive fine if he didn't switch his air conditioner off at night.
You're not allowed to run heating or cooling in your house before 8 in the morning or 7 in the morning and after 10 p.m. at night.
10
Because I
p.m.,
called
okay.
council and said, mate, what do you want me to do for heating and cooling? And he said, sorry, mate. I said, don't you run if I run like a split aircon or heater or whatever. Council sent me an email and I can send it through to you guys. $10,000 fine for running my aircon. $10,000.
He's right now. I didn't believe him at first, and maybe I was naive. See, there is legislation about this by the EPA and state governments called the Protection of the Environment.
Wait, what? We had a surrogate that we were told to call her a vessel. What? How did she feel about that? Why can't everyone have it on and just doors shut? You can't hear the neighbours anyway. Because this is one of the reasons why councils need to go and shove their regulations up their asses. This is why I don't believe local government should... It was her idea? Oh my god. This is why local government shouldn't exist. Anything and everything that can be done by local government could be done by the state government. It's purely basically setting up your, for people that are power hungry and mad to create their own little fiefdoms and annoy people. Oh, your dog got out. Here's a $3,500 fine. Oh, your fence doesn't comply. Here's a $3,500 fine. Oh, we don't like how much noise your air conditioner makes. Here's a $10,000 fine.
Operation Noise Regulation of 2017 says this, quote, use of air conditioners on residential premises. A person is guilty of an offence if A, the person causes or permits an air conditioner to be used on residential premises in such a manner that it emits noise and can be heard within any room in any other residential premises before 8 a.m. or after 10 p.m., Saturday, Sunday or a public holiday, or before 7 a.m. or after 10 p.m. on any other day. That is straight from New South Wales legislation. Can you believe that? It's a criminal offence to turn on your air conditioner after 10 p.m. Saturday, Sunday, or 10 p.m. on a weekday. Seriously.
It's completely it's complete insanity. I mean, I can understand why noise regulations may have been a thing at a certain point, you know. Yes, it's a criminal charge, and that's because that's the only way that they can impose the fines, because otherwise then they've got to sue, they've got to do, you know, whatever else. And it's not even as if that money then goes to your country sucks, those rules are stupid. No, see, here's the problem, Psycho Doll. This is shit that's been imported as well. But the whole over-regulation needs to stop. It really does. What can he do to annoy his neighbours after 10 p.m. that's legal? Well, pretty much nothing, because government, we don't have the power to ban stuff. We do have the power to fine the noise regulations. Let's define noise and can be heard and makes regulations a 5-figure fine. Yeah. Give half the money to the Aboriginals and the other half to... Soft. No, they use it for their own means. They use it to buy a $10,000 pot plant to put in the local council offices or some shit like that. When what they should be doing is purely... Yeah, it's a HOA as local government. All they need to be doing, the only reason they exist is to be ensuring that the local trash pickup is done and that the potholes are filled in the road. And they don't do either of those things for the most part. And it gives me the absolute shits. Has to be some way to annoy them after 10 p.m. that doesn't have to be sound. No, because then you wind up... there's noise regulations, but there's also nuisance regulations. So if you were to, say, start, I don't know, cooking... Say you live next to a vegan and you started cooking a steak at 10:01 p.m., there's a good chance you're going to get done on nuisance regulations as well. Complete lot of bullshit. They don't do that here. They take 56% of my pay. Damn. This was actually more low energy than I was expecting, so I'm going to move on from this. Any smell regulations in case by liquid ass? No, because then then the neighbour's probably going to do you for assault. Honestly, it's complete not a bullshit. You can't have any fun anymore either. Work nights and had to sleep while they replaced my street. I learned to sleep through noises. Well, there you go. Okay. A new mother on Reddit has refused to change her baby's name despite sister-in-law's pleas. It's a weak excuse. Why would it matter? A woman who has refused to change her 4-month-old's baby's name after a request from her sister-in-law was not wrong to hold her ground, said Reddit users in response to a social media post. Must be a really slow news day. I'd argue that it's the vegan who's a nuisance. Yep. Through the cooking thing book, why can I not say? Oh my God, Hayden! Obnoxious things and say it's part of your religion. That could work, actually. That could work. Am I the asshole for telling my sister-in-law I won't change my daughter's name for her? Asked No Leadership 2850. In the post, a woman said she and her husband had a 4-month-old baby whom they named Ember. My husband and I both love her name, and that's how it was chosen. We announced the named day she was born, and nobody said anything negative or gave us a reason to not use it. That is until just a few days ago. Her sister-in-law, who is married to my brother, sat me down and asked me to change the name because it's the name of her stillborn daughter she had with her ex-husband 7 years ago. The level of entitlement there, like, I get it. She had some trauma with her ex-husband. But, no. Sister-in-law tried to keep it quiet, and said, but she couldn't let me keep calling my daughter Ember because it was such a painful reminder for her. She told me she really feels like we should change the name. Well, that's on her. The mother of the 4-month-old balked at the idea. I gently told her that my daughter was 4 months old and her name is on the birth certificate. It would cost us money to change it, so we will not. Sister-in-law told me that she tried hard not to say anything, and the fact that she did eventually break and bring this up should show how hard it was for her and to make me more willing to change the name for her sake. I would have, though, because Emma's a dumb name. Laughing my ass off your face is while you're trying to work that out in your mind. She can ask, but the mother can also say no. Yeah. Mother wrote on Reddit that her husband agrees with her and does not want to change the daughter's name. He told me that it seemed like a weak excuse to wait almost 5 months to tell us when she had a chance long before this. Her brother, her sister-in-law's husband, is also supportive of the woman's refusal to change the name. We reached out and told me he reached out and told me that she mentioned it to him 2 months ago and that she was battling with asking us to change the name since, but he understands why I said no and supports the decision. The sister-in-law, however, is apparently not taking no for an answer. Yesterday, she reached out to me again and asked if we decided on a new name yet, and I told her no. Sister-in-law became very angry very quickly and told me that if she lost my niece, told me that if she had lost my niece, my response would have been different, and I should see her as losing my niece because she would have been if she were alive. Seek help. I'd love the name more because it would be in honor of my baby. Well, yeah, stepped away for dogs so slow to comment. All good. Truth is still truth regardless of who believes it or not. A lie is still a lie even if people believe it after being repeated until they believe it. Yeah. No, look, Forbidden Ruin, I understand people giving names to stillborns and that sort of thing as a form of closure. I think trying to force anybody else to try and change their lifestyle, I mean, how do they both pick the same name if a stillborn meant so much? Why didn't her family know that was the name she'd picked? That's actually a very good question. In this instance, A, she had the opportunity to pipe up as soon as the baby was named. B, it's a name. It's not. There's no exclusivity to it. It's. I mean, imagine if they'd called imagine. Like it's Ember. It's an unusual name. It's slightly different. It's whatever else, but imagine if it was a very common name like Mary or Margaret, or I don't know why I'm just listing through names. The point is, it's depends on age. After 24 weeks, you get a death certificate and have to bury or cremate it. That's true too. Had she said something while the baby was being born, the sister probably would have changed it, but when you wait till after, then no. No, because if... people wanted us to change Scarlett's name. And we already had our heart set on it. We had picked Scarlett's name out, like, a year or so in advance before we even knew that Mel was pregnant. So... the simple fact of the matter is, no, it's just a name. How can't she just be happy? It's because some people can't just be happy. Some people want to be miserable. Some people have to some people have to extend their misery into other people's lives. Misery loves company. If anyone can tell I'm a cold person, I hate bending to mentally ill people's feelings. You're all good. Ember isn't a normal name. Amber would be a normal name, similar. Yep. That's what I'm saying, is that... like, it's because it's a little bit more out there. I can understand that maybe someone might say that, you know, it was chosen deliberately, or that it's, you know, whatever else. What I'm trying to say is you don't have exclusive rights over the name. When my mum named me, Ashley was still a boy's name. She got a lot of shit over it. It's weird how a bunch of names have become sort of like unisex lately as well. Just caught the live front hole A. I'm ashamed to be Canadian. All good, misconstrued. So long as you're one of the sane ones, you'll be fine. No family are called their kid Zebedee because they liked the magic roundabout. Okay. Change it to LaQuisha. Flip side to this. Why doesn't she change the name of the stillborn? If time and length of period as to why how they've been named doesn't matter, I mean, the balance of convenience would say, hey, why don't you change the name of the individual that's long gone? Presumably, if she was stillborn and there's no paperwork, it's going to be significantly less burdensome. There won't be, you know, death certificate or anything like that. I mean, maybe there's, if she went the whole hog and she decided to have a burial, there might be a tombstone or whatever else. But can you change the name of a dead person? Not usually. But I'm saying that if there's no formal records of the, because we don't specifically know when she said the stillborn died. I mean, it says stillborn, so presumably at birth. Baby Squid had her name before she was born. Not saying this woman's grief is healthy, but it might explain why she's so attached to it. Yeah, look, it's quite possible, but at the same time, I think she's still in the wrong for asking this, I think. Stillborn kind of implies it, yeah. Well, I mean, it sort of depends at what point it was a stillborn. I mean, we're talking semantics, but I mean, was it a stillborn that was born at 22 weeks after a miscarriage? Was it a baby that made it to full term but didn't make it through the delivery? We don't know. So, my wife's had a girl's name picked out for a long time. We have claimed Leonidas. I thought my husband was going to want Junior, but he decided no after he was born. Huh. Okay. She also told me my daughter is going to grow up always hearing about her cousin with the same name. Wait, what? She also told me my daughter is going to grow up always hearing about the cousin I gave her the same name as, and that I should reconsider before burdening my daughter with that. She told me a good person with good morals would. The name would have no meaning. It has to be registered with births, deaths, and marriages, and usually alive, I imagine. Yeah. She added that while she knew her sister-in-law had experienced a pregnancy loss, she was unaware that it was a stillborn daughter of named Ember. I never knew the name or the sex, she said, adding, I never ever heard her use the name for her daughter. Good for the daughter, she'll learn about the cousin that passed away, keeping her memory alive. Named a pet rat after my sister-in-law to irritate her. It did. How is she going to hear about the cousin when there's nothing to say? And more to the point, if this is the first time that she's ever raised it, and this is the first time that the original poster has even ever heard of the fact that it had a name or a gender, Tells me that sister-in-law would only be doing that to be a vindictive cow. My friend named baby Cooper. The man who murdered her father was Dr. Cooper. Name change ASAP. He got 7 years. Damn. Fox News actually reached out to the Reddit user. You know, you got to take half the stuff on Reddit with like a grain of salt, but I like actually picking some of these stories apart. Like, there's nothing really to speak of legally here, but this is more just... Sister-in-law's a bitch. Oh, no shit. Look at the counter going up. Hello. See, this is how quickly the counter changes from day to day, like minute to minute, based on whether or not people are watching, whether or not YouTube's having a hissy fit. I just don't know. Sister-in-law sounds like a crazy, jealous woman that's pissed the woman has a healthy baby. That's sort of what it's coming across, yeah. Was the stillborn cremated because Ember might be inappropriate? Oh, Tom! Damn, that's bad. Therapist told Fox News Digital that she did not believe anyone in the scenario was truly in the wrong, so to speak. Of course not. These name issues happen in real life? Yeah. It's likely true that sister-in-law held back for 4 months to say something. The decision whether or not to speak up was probably very difficult, as mentioned, said Rachel Goldberg, LMFT, founder of the Rachel Goldberg Therapy in Los Angeles. There's no puff piece there. Never know if anything on Reddit's real. Nearly everything on Tumblr and 4chan's fake. True. Rumpelstiltskin. Once the sister-in-law decided to talk to the woman about the daughter's name, the issue probably felt much larger to her, especially since the response was a firm no regarding changing the name. The mother of the 4-month-old has every right to keep the name. Damn friggin' straight she does. She added she can navigate this by being very empathetic to her sister-in-law, or she can just treat her like a tumor and cut her out of her life. She could continually express her sorrow for what her sister-in-law went through and acknowledge that the name might be triggering for now. But the young mother should also consider telling her sister-in-law that changing the name doesn't seem appropriate in the situation. No, it's not that it doesn't seem appropriate, it's that it's not appropriate in the situation. Call her Ember Heard when she soils her nappy. Shouldn't matter if the daughter hears about the cousin having the same name if the parents speak of the cousin in a loving and honouring way. Well, see, here's the thing. I don't think that the parents are going to be talking about her at all, because from the sounds of it, they didn't know about her. Hey, Bernice. Reddit people are crazy, but in this case, she needs to go no contact with the sister-in-law. Sounds like she's going to try and make the 4-month-old feel bad for having the same name as a stillborn. If Ember doesn't wind up being a fiery woman one day, I'll be disappointed. Well, I'm sure we can check in with her in, 20 years and 8 months and see whether or not at 21 she's a fiery little thing. Who knows? The mother can hope that in time the sister-in-law will understand that the two are separate beings. While the stillbirth was an extremely painful experience, which the author fully acknowledges, the situation with the new baby is distinct and separate, and the situation might be a catalyst that motivates the sister-in-law to seek help, as there may still be some unresolved issues that can be worked out. You think there might be unresolved issues there? You think? Maybe? Just maybe? Reddit users agreed with the sentiment, with many voicing their firm opinion that the woman should not change the baby's name. No shit, you think? I love how they specify, not the asshole, you're the asshole, no one's the asshole, everyone sucks here. Users can upvote response, blah, blah, blah. Everyone grieves differently at their own rate. The user continued addressing the mother directly. However, 7 years definitely warrants therapy, counseling, and some coping mechanisms. I find it extremely difficult to believe that in 7 years your sister-in-law has never met anyone or even a pet named Amber, or has she and insists that the person change their name also. Hey, Bush. Multiple users pointed out how it was strange that the sister-in-law said that her daughter would be hearing about the cousin Ember, given what the Reddit user wrote as a member of the family had never once heard the name during the entire time she'd known her. Sounds like the sister is threatening to make a point to always tell her niece about the cousins she was named after, making the aunt the arsehole. Another user said the sister-in-law can ask, I suppose, but has no right to demand you to change your daughter's name. If there was a time to change the name, it was when she was born. Probably prior to her being born, but, you know. It's some bullshit. Anyway. Where are we? Okay, innocent woman branded a thief by artificial AI recognition software. Are we really not shocked by this in the slightest? Why are you all stirred up? Huh? What's going on? Don't forget, people, we get to $50 in memberships or super chats or rumble rants, I should say. Labracadabrador Cam comes on, and for some reason she's stirred up today. I don't know. Maybe she just wants pats. I don't know. Good girl. Sounds like an aunt who's never going to see her niece. I would say so, yeah. Hey, Kaiser, how you doing, buddy? All right, so AI facial recognition. You're out shopping, minding your own business, when suddenly the security guard appears and declares you're a criminal. This is the exact scenario one woman found herself in due to a mistake by facial recognition software in the home's bargain store. As the technology is being rolled out more and more, everyone is at risk of being part of a digital police lineup without their knowledge, according to the head of a civil liberties charity. Name her after the sister-in-law horse's ass. Now, see, it's interesting because I've been seeing footage online of the recognition stuff. With AI being able to tell whether or not you've put an item in your pocket and whether or not you're shoplifting and all that sort of stuff. Personally, I feel like the AI stuff, facial recognition that they've got at Safeway and Coles here and at the checkouts, at the self-checkouts, I think they need to stop that shit, frankly. Need to get better at grifting. Chat, if you aren't Paul, throw money at the Burmese, big gay. I don't know. After the last week, it just feels like grifting's not really important. I mean, guys, I'm here to entertain you at this point. So, Kaiser Penamente? Never use self-service. No, I mean, here's the thing. Specifically with the price gouging with Coles and Woolworths, they keep saying, oh, our prices are high so that we can continue to provide the best quality items and to provide service to customers and all that sort of stuff. Well, when you've got 8 checkouts, 7 of them are closed, and then you've got the banker self-serve and you're expecting everyone to go and pack their own bags, you can get nicked. Who'll take the blame for false alarms, the shop or the AI people? No one. They will say it's part of the program and is to be ignored. In the case of Sarah, who wants to remain anonymous, she was approached by a store worker who said, "You're a thief and you need to leave the store." Her bag was searched before she was led out of the store. Now, to be fair, they're not supposed to do that here. I don't know. I mean, a lot of stores have company policies where they don't do that. But specifically, because you haven't actually committed a crime until you exit the store. Okay. In the case, speaking to the BBC, the big black cock, she said, "I was just crying and crying the entire journey home. I thought, oh, will my life be the same? I'm going to be looked at as a shoplifter when I've never stolen." Sarah had been mistakenly identified by facial recognition software called FaceWatch, which is used in a number of stores around the UK alongside Home Bargains, including Sports Direct, Budgeons, and Cost Cutter. While FaceWatch did write to Sarah and acknowledge the error, it declined to comment to the BBC. "We ain't talking to no big black cock." Home Bargains also declined to comment. The case is just one of a growing number where innocent people are accused of crimes that they did not commit. Facial recognition technology was first used by Metropolitan Police at the Notting Hill Carnival. Carnival? Okay. Since the Notting Hill Carnival in 2016, the Met Pol have used live facial recognition technology at both major events and as part of general surveillance in streets. In January, the force revealed that it arrested more than a dozen people after deploying the facial recognition over 2 days in Croydon, including those who had failed to appear in court and a man wanted on a prison recall. The big black cock also joined the Met during the facial recognition deployment, during which 6 arrests were made, including 2 people who breached terms of sexual harm prevention orders. Earlier this month, a post on X... See, what they're doing here, though, is they're specifying what they would class as successful things. Oh, yeah, we managed to get some violent criminals off the streets because we recognize them. How many people got face planted into the ground or run over by a bobby because the wrong people were identified? What happens when masks are mandated again and the sheep will wear them? That's a damn good question. Walmart keeps a security office in the exit corridor. They bust off the unmarked... They bust out of the unmarked door and detain thieves in my state. No shit. We'll be using live facial recognition technology at key locations in Tower Hamlets today, it said. Technology keeps Londoners safe and will be used to find people who threaten or cause harm, those who are wanted or have outstanding arrest warrants issued by the court. In total, the Met has made 192 arrests this year as a result of the technology. However, just as is the case with FaceWatch, the Met's software provided is not infallible either. Sean Thompson, who works for a youth advocacy group Street Fathers, was mistakenly identified when passing an LFR van near London Bridge in February. "I got a nudge on the shoulder saying that at the time that I'm wanted. He was held for 20 minutes and asked to give fingerprints, only being released after handing over a copy of his passport. It felt intrusive. I was treated guilty until proven innocent, he said. The BBC said it understands the case may have been due to family resemblance. This episode of Blue is called Monkey Jocks. Facial recognition starts by identifying a face in a still or video, picking up on which pixels make up the face and which are the body, background, or something else. Then maps the face, such as measuring the distance between certain features, to create a numerical expression for the individual. That can then be quickly compared to a large database to try and find a match from faces that have already been mapped. However, cases of mistaken identity serve as a stark reminder that anyone passing a vehicle operating with facial recognition will have their face scanned, most likely without their knowledge. And presumably that will then be stored. So that can form part of the database that they can then go, ooh, okay, we need to check against this person. Silky Carlo, director of Big Brother Watch, has been observing facial recognition deployment for years. My experience is that most members of the public don't really know what live facial recognition is, she said, speaking with the big black cock. I need like a rooster sound effect. AI is racist by saying you all look the same. Pretty much. Added that on being scanned, they're effectively part of a digital police lineup. If they trigger a match alert, then the police will come in, possibly detain them and question them and ask them to prove their innocence. While the Metropolitan Police say that only around 1 in 33,000 people surveilled by its cameras are misidentified, that's 1 in 33,000 too many. I can recognize a facial. Once someone is actually flagged, the figure soars with 1 in 40 alerts this year. Okay, wait, what? 1 in 40 alerts this year were a case of mistaken identity. Facial recognition software with all its technology is constantly evolving and has taken decades to reach the point where UK authorities are confident enough in its abilities to use it in law enforcement. You shouldn't be confident to use it in law enforcement if 1 in 40 people are being mistakenly identified. I bet Sergeant Bukaki can recognize a facial too. Wait, no, hang on. Alongside the Met, South Wales Police use facial recognition technology, including as major events that will be deployed in the Take That concert next month. The force has a clear list of upcoming deployments, allowing the public to see when and where the faces may be scanned. The Met does not appear to offer an easily accessible calendar of surveillance. As yet, there are no rules dictating whether or not those using facial recognition should make people aware of that their faces are being scanned. Michael Birtwistle, head of research at the Ada Lovelace Institute. Oh, I can't help but look at that disgusting pimple. Told the BBC that laws have not yet caught up with the technology. I think it's absolutely a wild west at the moment. That's what creates the legal uncertainty as to whether current users are unlawful or not. For now, the Metropolitan and South Wales Police remain the only forces regularly using the technology, but with regular positive reports on the numbers of arrests made, it's not hard to imagine that the use will increase. In China, facial recognition software has logged almost every citizen in the country and uses a vast network of cameras to catch its residents committing even the smallest misdemeanors, from jaywalking to using too much toilet paper in a public restroom. We've also seen Minority Report will be retina scanned soon if it's not already in place. Yeah. I'm not okay with this. This is not a free society. This was really low energy today, wasn't it? Not an A4 was a warning, not a manual. Actually, I saw a really good meme on X the other day. George Orwell sitting down and reading 2024 and being horrified. So, all right. Crack a Coke. I can't. I'm probably not going to be able to go much longer anyway. I slept in and I'm taking the... no, don't hit the like button on this one. Just don't, people. Like, when I'm not happy with the stream, I don't want you guys encouraging YouTube to promote this particular one. Don't think my locals reached common sense levels of self-awareness. Okay. All right, let's have a quick look at this bill, and then I'm probably going to... The implanted RFID chip is available now. No thanks. All right, so for any of you that are regular viewers, you'll know that I'm fairly vocal about the fact that Australia needs to keep its hands on cash because cash is king. It prevents transactions from being, what do you call it? From being traced, and it keeps money in your hands because a $50 note at the end of the day is going to have $50 worth of value. A $50 transaction through a bank or through a payment processor has, anywhere between 1.2 and 1.9 worth of its value removed each time you commit the transaction. Eventually, all the money winds up back in the hands of the banks. So, a private member's bill has been put through into the Australian Parliament. I very much expect this to crash and burn because this is not what the government wants. They want to have the power over the people. A bill for an act to require businesses to accept cash payments for certain transactions and for related purposes. Use cash everywhere, even to pay my rates at the post office in person. As well you should. Short title. Keeping Cash Transactions in Australia Act 2024. Don't care about the commencement or the definitions. Okay, so businesses must offer to accept cash payments for certain transactions. A person contravenes this section, they're actually making it a civil penalty for an individual to not accept cash, which frankly is what they need. New Disney park coming. Yeah, I saw that. We'll see what happens. What do people do when they aren't allowed to have a bank account? Curl up and die in the corner, apparently. Person contravenes the section if they carry a business of supplying goods or services to the public under regulated transactions, and the person offers to accept a payment under such transaction in person or at a premises, or from a vehicle or structure which the person carries on the business, and they fails to offer to accept or to accept the payment in cash with a $5,000 fine. Section 7 does not apply for transactions that are higher of $10,000 or any amount prescribed by the rules, or offering to accept a payment under the transaction in cash would pose a reasonable security risk for the person, or offering to accept a payment under the transaction in cash would be contrary to the law of a state or territory. Offering to accept payment in cash under the transaction in cash would be contrary to the current health advice issued by an official agency. Okay, so basically they're saying, yeah, they're really planning for the next one. They're including it in almost all legislation. Was it local markets earlier, and we always use cash there? A number of places had 50 cents or more surcharges for card payments under $10. As well they should, frankly. Bought a 2011 SL500 with cash at a dealership recently. Paid cash for my car. It's a 2008 Nissan Rogue. Huh. I think there's a new one in California. No, they're looking at putting one here in Melbourne. I don't know how that's going to play. Person needs to access cash in the form of change for the purpose of the transaction, but that access is not readily available. It's a fairly short and to the point act, which basically just means you have to accept cash, otherwise you can be fined $5,000. It's straight, it's to the point, and it is going to get slammed. Still pay my water utilities by writing a check to avoid card fees. Well, see, the banks here have phased out checks. The government's made it so they no longer have to accept or issue them. From November, my solicitor's trust account, my lawyer's trust account, will no longer be able to use checks. Everything's going to have to be EFT, which means that at some point, the Legal Services Board's going to have to get with the program and understand that EFTs are not the only electronic transaction. And they'll need to accept that payments for BPay and for Venmo and things like that will need to be included as appropriate transactions from a trust account. Because at the moment, I get in trouble if I use any other payment method aside from receipt of cash or payment of EFT. I mean, at some point, they're going to have to actually have a... At some point, they're actually going to have to recognize that people may want to pay bills in crypto. So, but anyway. Where are we? And last but not least, let's go with the man who climbed on top of the Bumblebee statue and stripped has pled not guilty. Hector Malero, the man who was charged with an incident in downtown Albuquerque after climbing on top of a Bumblebee statue, and when I say Bumblebee, I mean the Transformer, not a big-ass bug, has pled not guilty. Surveillance footage caught him climbing the Transformer statue and removing his clothes at 4th and Lomas on Monday. Police had to remove him twice that day from the statue. He was arraigned in front of the judge, Jill Martinez, and pled not guilty. I wonder whether or not he had his clothes on or not at the time. There's only a handful of businesses around here that accept checks. No, and look, and I can understand that. I mean, for the most part, most big major transactions, you're not like, no, sorry. Most day-to-day transactions, you're not going to give a check. And I can completely understand that. People don't get their money for a few days. They have to wait for the check to clear, all that sort of shit. Specifically for lawyers, though, and for accountants and other certain individuals, there are certain professions where checks are valuable, where it would be extremely helpful to continue being able to use checks. I mean, property settlements, property transactions, family law settlements. There are certain instances where it is appropriate to have a check made out. Hey, Bulldozer. How's Imagination Land? Not sure how, but my stream from Thursday's at 5,000 views. I saw that, dude. Congratulations. Like, honestly. What I would say is take whatever you covered and double down on it, because hopefully that'll bring in return viewers, and then you can sort of move on to other things. Uncle had floating steps. Never mind. Okay. Not guilty by reason of insanity. During the arraignment, the state said that his criminal history in California, Texas, Wyoming, and New Mexico. He was released on his own recognizance and scheduled for a bench trial in July.
Charged with indecent exposure. This after climbing on a well-known statue downtown and stripping naked twice. Hector Malero was arraigned virtually in front of Judge Jill Martinez this morning.
He looks stable. Is the words that I was looking for there.
He pled not guilty to indecent exposure. Surveillance footage caught Malero climbing up the Bumblebee Transformer statue at 4th and Lomas on Monday morning, then removing his clothes. Now, this was the second time that day that police had to remove him from the statue. During his arraignment, the state said that he has criminal history in California, Texas, Wyoming, and in New Mexico.
That's a great place for it to pause. Dollar store, Mr. Bean. Maybe. I mean, clearly the guy has issues, but I'm curious as to why he felt that he declined Bumblebee. Like, did he just want to feel a sting, or, like, I don't know. Bumble penis. Couldn't they just give him a yank? Where are we? Got that, covered that. Oh, oh yeah, what was this? Man arrested after allegedly abandoning kids on an island in Satellite Beach. A man was arrested after police in Satellite Beach say 3 children were abandoned for hours on an island in Brevard County. One of the children's fathers, Leonard Knight, was supposed to be watching the kids on a Memorial Day camping trip, but the father was arrested and charged with 3 counts of child neglect. According to the police report, the 3 children were left without care and were 9, 10, and 11 years old. Not only were they left, but they were stranded on an island surrounded by water before a Good Samaritan heard them screaming for help from the dock late on Saturday night. I cried so much Sunday that I can't cry anymore. Now I just want answers, said Robin, one of the children's mothers. Robin wants justice for her 9-year-old daughter and the 2 other kids who were allegedly left for 4 hours on Sampson Island in Satellite Beach. They got scared, they made their way to the dock and were yelling for help. Robin says her daughter was staying with her best friend and was supposed to be watched by her father. She tells us that he's looked after her daughter before, so she wasn't worried, but that changed on Saturday night. Couldn't get there fast enough to make sure she was okay, she said, after her heart sank when the sheriff's office called her, letting her know what had happened. According to the police report, police officers responded to an address after the man was arrested. After the man who was arrested called 911 saying he lost contact with the children. Responding officers say Niall was emotional, showing mood swings and even crying and yelling, referencing the missing children. We got video on this.
Trip over the weekend. Police in Satellite Beach say that this man was supposed to be watching them. Fox 35's Esther Bauer has details on how the kids were lost, then found.
According to a police report, 3 children who were 9, 10, and 11 years old were left alone on a camping trip over the weekend. Not only were they alone, they were stranded. They were on this island right over here, and they were not rescued until a good Samaritan heard them screaming for help from the dock.
I cried so much Sunday that I can't cry anymore, and now I just want answers.
Robin wants justice after her 9-year-old daughter and 2 other kids were allegedly left alone for 4 hours on Sampson Island in Satellite Beach.
They got scared, so they made their way to the dock and was yelling for help.
Robin says her daughter was staying with her best friend and was supposed to be watched by her father. She tells us he's looked after her daughter before, so she wasn't worried, but that changed on Saturday night.
I couldn't get there fast enough to make sure my daughter was okay.
According to a police report, Satellite Beach police officers responded to 698 Jackson Court after the man who was arrested, Leonard Nile, called 911 saying he lost contact with the children. The responding officers say Nile was emotional, showing mood swings and even crying and yelling while in reference to missing children. Nile told police he left the kids to get more equipment for the camping trip, but when he came back, he couldn't find the kids. The officer noted they could smell alcohol on him. The report also says the suspect admitted to smoking weed, consuming cocaine, and drinking beer before meeting with the officers.
If you're going to be out there with the children, we need to be in the right state of mind.
Thankfully, all 3 children are safe because someone nearby heard the kids yelling and brought them back to land.
Why were our kids just left out there? Why didn't you make sure one of the cell phones were charged? I want answers.
Police arrested Nile on Saturday night. Satellite Beach police tell us this is an active investigation. Robin is extremely thankful all of these children are safe, but says she's even more nervous now thinking about letting anyone else watch her daughter. Reporting in Satellite Beach, Esther Bauer, Fox 35 News.
3 kids abandoned on an island during a camping trip over.
So there's that.
Campaign signs stolen in Brevard County. The candidate.
No one cares. The campaign signs. Oh, anyway, guys, I gotta get out of here. I'm gonna go because it's Sunday, so we picked a family activity to do. We're gonna take little lady Overlaw'd bowling for the first time, so there's probably gonna be some shorts coming out. But oh yeah, Sarah Boone's back in the news. I'm sure Vices will probably talk about that when he gets back off the plane. But kids said they were a fan of Survivor. Dad took it literal. But yeah. Anyway, as always, people, please remember, you're not a piece of shit. You have value and do contribute to society, especially for being here. And thank you to everybody that has hit the like button and subscribed. Even though today was a bit of a, bit low energy, but it is what it is. I'll try and find some more funny stuff for the next show. But as always, people, stay healthy, wealthy, and wise. And I'll catch you all on the flip side. And I will try and work out why I keep doing the, because it irritates me too. So, but anyway, peace out, peeps. What is wrong with me today?
Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks. Don't mind me. I'ma just grab my stuff and leave. Excuse me, please. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Nope. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Alright then. I don't know what the fuck just happened, but I don't really care. I'ma get the fuck up out of here. Fuck this shit, I'm out.